What's going on? What's going on, guys? This is your man, Real Deal, Steele, coming to you live. Sorry it's a little bit late tonight. Just a real full plate here. Give me a moment. I'm gonna pull up. I just had it, but it just went out of reach. I'm gonna pull up. A Doge chart, and we'll toggle back and forth between Doge and Bitcoin. Just give me one moment, folks. I'll have the Dogecoin chart with some candles up on the screen momentarily here. Where is it? There it is. Okay. Now we are good to go. And we'll fix my Hollywood square a little bit more up here. Blow it up. There we go. Now things are sitting right where they need to be. What's going on, guys? You are watching Real Deal Steele. I'm Steele. Great to have you with us for another special edition of Midnight Mass. Good to see each and every one of you guys for this special late edition. We're crypto vampires. We've got a lot of crypto vampires here. We've got a lot of night owls like myself, and we got a surprising amount of third shift workers in this community as well. So these late shows sometimes they work out just fine. Before we get started, if I could just ask you to hit that like button. It's the number one thing you can do to help the channel out and increase the reach, folks. So if you haven't done that, if you could just take a second to do that, hugely appreciated. Also, if you're brand new here, I'd like to personally welcome you and invite you to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Hit all on that notification bell. We've got an awesome community here. Fantastic community here. Definitely want you to be a part of it. Let's see who's up in the chat tonight. We've got Diamond Hands Freddy. Welcome, Diamond Hands. We got Hector the Dude. We got Alan Schneider, of course. We have got Hunter Wayne. We've got Squirrely. Welcome. We got Esteban. Yes. Axp. I don't know. How do you pronounce AKPS7? I know that name. I see it in here. I've seen it in here a lot. But welcome. Christopher James, welcome back. Haven't seen you in a bit. Nick Parmy. Jeremy. Swift Pilot. Slay Blaze. Of course, the Sliding Edge. I'm John. Kenny Potter. My nephew. Awesome. And Mary in New York kicking things off with the first super chat of the night for $10 to make you holler. Mary, thank you so much. Always great to have you in the mix. Thank you for starting things off with that super chat and support. Hugely appreciated. Speaking of which, if you feel compelled to super chat throughout the duration of this broadcast, hugely appreciated for all the time and efforts put in. So without any further ado, let's just get down to it, boppers. Wow, what a day. What a difference a day makes, as they say, right? Holy cow. So just this morning, two huge pieces of news. First and foremost is that Elon Musk has been named. Unless you've been living under a rock the last 24 hours, you know what I'm about to say. He has been named Time's Person of the Year for 2021 to the delight and chagrin of many. I was just having a great time seeing the different reactions to this news on social media today. And Elon Musk, he's not a safe guy. He's kind of edgy. He ruffles some feathers out there, but he's also wildly successful and productive. Obviously, wealthiest man that's ever existed on the planet. But it definitely rattles some feathers. I couldn't help but notice the pattern between people that are more privy to kind of wokeism and that kind of philosophies and perspectives seem particularly upset about Elon being nominated as Time's 2021 Person of the Year, which made it even a bit more amusing if I don't say so myself. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Why are the Doge candlesticks on Robinhood so high, Stephen Steele, but the price is the same? I couldn't tell you without... you're talking about the action of that huge green candle. Well, let me take a look. Let's analyze this. Well, it's quite simple, actually, because what you're looking at is a 5-minute chart. So whatever happens in the shorter of a duration that you have your chart set on, the more wild it will tend to look, right? Because you're looking at a super quick snapshot on a close time period of close time frame rather. So we're in a 5-minute chart right now. In fact, Billy Marcus tweeted out something today that was kind of amusing in relation to this point. He said, "When in doubt, zoom way in," which is pretty much what you would do. You'd zoom way in on that super large green candle that transpired in a 5-minute chart. But let's put it in perspective. I mean, that's really good, don't get me wrong, but if we zoom out to about 30 minutes here, see? It's not so, I mean, it's still a good sized green candle, but it's not so epic. And of course, that retracement happened devastatingly fast. The whales just moved in and chopped out that candle in pretty efficient action. But we got another green coming up there. Don't worry, guys. I'm always keeping one eye very closely on the Doge, on the market, on Bitcoin, everything else. So you're not going to miss a thing as I cover everything else here tonight. There we go. Let me just fix that chart a little bit. So hopefully that explains it. Yeah, if you are privy to investing, if you've got the kind of capital to do so, to play around there, now might be a great time to do that, folks. Might be a great time to do that. The only reason why I'm not accumulating more crypto right now, and I'm just telling you what I would do and not financial advice. Personally, if I had investment capital to do it, I would be going all in right now on a few different ones. I'd be going all in on Bitcoin, Dogecoin, and a few, two others. Probably about, one or two others. But I'm already stretched, so I can't. But I do think, personally, I think this is a very advantageous window for accumulation. Now, there is a possibility things could go down even more. I'm not saying to go down much more, but I think there's a possibility that, like right now, we have Doge trading at almost 16 cents. I think it's possible it could get down to 12 or 13 cents for maybe a day. I'm not telling you that's going to happen, so don't freak out. But I would put it like, if I gave it a percentage, about a 20% chance of rain there. But I do think that this is in part coordinated by people that are much more wealthy and connected than us to keep buying at more advantageous places. So when things really take off, their margins are even much more significant. Sliding Edge coming in with a $5 make you holler. I heard Amazon headquarters will be getting 1,000 copies of Man of the Year edition by Time Magazine. It wouldn't surprise me. And actually, there was a really good. It's about 12 or 13 minutes long on a time kind of mini feature on Elon Musk as Person of the Year, and it's done really well. I think it's done really well. It's the camera work and the editing and the reporting. I thought it was all pretty fair, pretty cool. So yeah, I would check that out directly on Time's website. I'll try to check that when I can, Esteban. Yeah, Time's pretty much all digital now, but yeah, so you can check it out. It's the predominant feature on the homepage there, and it's pretty cool, and the footage is pretty awesome. I'm going to read a couple excerpts of it because I think they did a really nice job at it. The richest man of the world does not own a house and has recently been selling off his fortune. He tosses satellites into orbit and harnesses the sun. He drives a car he created that uses no gas and barely needs a driver. With a flick of a finger, the market soars or swoons. An army of devotees hangs on his every utterance. He dreams of Mars, and he bestrides Earth, square-jawed and indomitable. Lately, Elon Musk also likes live tweet his poops. he live tweets his poops. That's what it's saying. Just dropping some friends off of the pool, the 50-year-old zillionaire informed his 66 million Twitter followers on the evening of November 29th, having previously advised that at least half of his tweets were made on the porcelain throne. And after an interval, 21 minutes, you must know an update. Splish splash. Sometimes I do hit some resonant notes with respect to humor, Musk says of his puerile expressions. It's a warm, windy December day at Starbase, his new rocket fabrication and launch facility at the southern tip of Texas. Two of his Starship rockets, gleaming pointy-nosed, 160-foot stainless steel silos are silhouetted behind him in the setting sun. But not all jokes land, he added. I totally recommend it. I think it's a great read. I think it's really, really well done. Really quality writing there. Last man standing, will Doge be around the next 3 to 5 years? Honest opinion, everyone. First of all, welcome to the show. My answer is yes. I put that at about 98, 99% yes. And now I'm just putting a little caveat in there, just wild card, just in case. But yeah, I have little to no doubt that Dogecoin will be around in 3 to 5 years. This is a long-term project. The ground has been set. The utility is high. The community is strong. It's been out there since 2013. It's not an accident that Dogecoin has arrived where it's at and in the limelight today. To the degree that it has been. It's got a very long and rich history, and it's made some very important connections along the way. And it's built probably the largest community we've ever seen in cryptocurrency. So I think the long-term outlook for Dogecoin looks incredibly promising. I think the market value of Dogecoin in 3 to 5 years will look very favorable comparatively to where things are now. Alan Snyder says, pro tip, don't eat tacos right out of the oven. You got to be careful, man. You can't eat anything right out of the oven. You got to let it cool, at least for a few minutes, my friend. Put it by the window. So yeah, highly recommend that article by Elon Musk. Something that really stood out to me in the interview that he did with Time Magazine is he referred to, he was talking about, first of all, the interviewer was asking about his post-breakup life after Grimes and asked what happened there and if he's dating anyone new. To which Elon responded, no, that he doesn't have anyone new that he's dating or a new girlfriend yet, and that he pretty much lives on Starbase. He lives on the SpaceX headquarters. And he referred to it as, what did he say, a technological monastery. And then he doubled back on it and he called it the Techno Monastery, which I thought was really funny. I don't know, maybe I was always thinking that'd be cool to make t-shirts. Maybe I'll make t-shirts that say Techno Monastery, I think. With a picture of a rocket or something. That could be pretty good. Oh, man. You and Zombie Man, back and forth. You guys got the neighbor wars. All right. So, sometimes I feel like my apartment's a techno monastery, quite frankly. Anyway, so huge, incredible news. Now, most notably, for those of us who watch this show, I mean, I thought the whole interview was awesome, but there was a moment, and Billy Marcus edited it out and posted onto Twitter today, wherein they asked Elon about his relationship with cryptocurrency, and through his own volition, without being prompted, Elon said under no uncertain terms that Dogecoin is better to buy things with than Bitcoin. And he explained why, and I swear to God, just listening to how Elon was approaching this and explaining this to this Time reporter, it really reminded me of this show. It really reminded me of so many conversations we've had here on this show night after night. It is almost hearing myself verbatim discuss the advantages of Dogecoin in relation to Bitcoin. It was just so cool and so incredible and huge, huge news that here we have the richest man on the planet explaining something that, you know, a few of us have known, but not many of us have known, even within the crypto community. This is something that, you know, I've made videos about this. I made a couple videos. I made one 8 months ago, one 7 months ago. I made another one like 4 months ago, just about this very thing. How Dogecoin is most well positioned to be the #1 transacted digital currency on the planet in a retail space, and why Bitcoin isn't evolving and hasn't evolved to be that. And so to hear Elon take this argument and explain this to Time Magazine, which has reverberated throughout all of financial media. For example, here's a story from MSN. Elon Musk has consistently supported Dogecoin, a meme-inspired crypto. He's invested in it along with Bitcoin and Ethereum, he said in October. But to Musk, Dogecoin has an advantage over Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. He sees Dogecoin as the best cryptocurrency to transact with. Fundamentally, Bitcoin is not a good substitute for transactional currency, Musk told Time Magazine after being named Time's 2021 Person of the Year. Even though it was created as a silly joke, Dogecoin is better suited for transactions, he stated. The transaction volume of Bitcoin is low, and the cost per transaction is high. Musk said, adding that Dogecoin is more suitable as a store of value, which is why its investors want to hold on to it and not sell it or use it for transactions. Folks, does this sound familiar? Hello, McFly. Does this sound familiar? It should. If you watch my show, this sounds incredibly familiar, doesn't it? How many times have I made this point in various ways through various means? Countless times. So, it's great. This is a very good day, folks. A very good day for Doge. Very good day for Doge holders, enthusiasts, and the like. And Tesla, SpaceX, Elon Musk fans, all of it. It's a great day. It's a great day. It's a historic day, frankly. And I think that this day will go down in cryptocurrency history, in Dogecoin history. I have no doubt about it. I have no doubt about it, folks. So, you know, there was a sorry, I have to just be honest here. I was distracted through messages and stuff. I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? It was actually a very important point. Yes. As I was saying, first of all, Donna Tabuki, thank you for the $10 super chat. I didn't get a reminder text. Yes, you did. Donna, that's not true. I literally texted you, Donna. I said, I'm going live. Check your phone again, Donna. And welcome to the mix, by the way. Christopher says Elon watches. I actually do think that Elon's probably watched once, maybe twice. But the idea that he's a regular viewer, I think is a long shot. But it is interesting how he does say some things that I say on the show, and he, even aesthetically, he'll post like some memes and artwork that seem to kind of have similar, have you guys noticed this? Have similar aesthetics with, that I'm pretty fond of with the show. So, oh my gosh. Anyway, Donna, thank you so much. Alan has a bromance with you. Yeah, you guys are the bosom buddies, man. You guys should, Zombie Doge Army and Alan, you guys should, like, they should cast you in like an 80s style buddy cop movie, kind of like Lethal Weapon. That I would like to see. That I would pay good money to see, gentlemen. Let me see here. So, this is an excellent day. This is a great day for Doge. I do think, now, here's the main point I wanted to make before. It just came back to me now. Obviously, this brought out a lot of naysayers. Anytime Dogecoin gets a ton of publicity via Elon, it brings out a lot of the haters. Me being known as a Doge-centric content creator, I've become a target when these moments happen, and today was certainly no exception. And I got a lot of the sentiments of like, well, Dogecoin's trading down. It's going down today. Well, Elon Musk just said this, so much for your SHIT coin, this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, guys, this isn't rocket science. Frankly, most of the time, not all of the time, but most of the time, Dogecoin simply mirrors what Bitcoin is doing. Let me say that one more time. Dogecoin simply mirrors overall what Bitcoin is doing. We're still living in a Bitcoin dominant market. And that's how everything pans out from top to bottom. Let me pull this up to even make more of a point of that so you can see where things are at right now. And speaking to that, so guess what? Bitcoin is down. Bitcoin is down 5.3% for the day, which is very significant considering the market cap of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is down a little over 5% for the day. Dogecoin is down 6% for the day. Bitcoin down 5.5, Dogecoin down 6 points for the day. Ethereum down 7.5 points for the day. So Dogecoin's right in the middle of market trends of where Bitcoin and Ethereum is. It's sitting just where it's supposed to be. Now, I believe that Bitcoin is at least going to 100,000 and much far beyond if you're willing to hold. And so do many wealthy investors and companies that are invested in Bitcoin as well. So when Bitcoin gets pulled up to 100,000, when Bitcoin gets pulled up to 200,000, you better believe it that Dogecoin is going to ascend right along with it. It's never been left behind in that regard. And if it has, it's only happened for maybe 24, 72 hours tops before it starts raising itself up. And a delayed reaction. I've explained why that happens in separate video shorts. But yeah, so a vote for Dogecoin, in a sense, is a vote for Bitcoin. As of now, I don't think that we're always going to be living in a Bitcoin-dominated market. I do think eventually, that probably Ethereum will take the number one spot. It wouldn't even surprise me if at some point we would see, call me crazy, this is a little bit of a wild card prediction, something like Solana or AVAX pierce that top 3 or 4 as well. Now, I say this to bring reassurance to you because, and that's why I said if I had more capital to invest right now, I'd be putting it into Bitcoin, I'd be putting it into Dogecoin, I'd be putting it into ETH, because these are all very cautious, solid, long-term investments with high probability of well returns. So, for example, Dogecoin right now is sitting at about 16 cents, with Bitcoin trading at just about 46,500, right? So on the modest end, once Bitcoin gets to 100,000, on the modest end, I would say, and this is the very low ball. This is low ball scenario. It would bring Dogecoin up to about 35 to late 30s. Now, that can fluctuate a little bit because the market caps are so vastly different, but the overall trends that we've seen, as far as once Dogecoin ascended to like top 12 status and hasn't really fallen out of that since it ascended there, it's kind of gone just up and down with Bitcoin, which is good because that also shows us that Dogecoin has a super high probability of remaining in the top 12, top 10 for years and years to come. And I do think that's going to be the case. Donna Tabuki coming in with a $5 super chat. What does the Doge Army think about helium mining? I have a house in a remote area. Yeah, anyone in the chat, feel free to let Donna know. Give her some thoughts on that. Donna, let me do a little bit of footwork, and I'll get back to you on that off the air. And I think I might be able to give you some helpful info, but I will look into that more, Donna. But anyone in the chat, feel free to reach out to her as well. So yeah, this is awesome news, guys. Awesome news. So what does this mean for Dogecoin going forward? What does this mean for the long-term future of Doge? Well, I've always said I've considered it kind of a mistake to think about things in super defined landmark dates. Dogecoin, the way it's behaved when it's gone most parabolic is a consequence of two things. Long periods of sideways trading and accumulation followed by a giant spike that results in a much higher, after retracement, a much higher floor than where it was before that parabolic spike. Now, what's to attribute to these parabolic rises? Well, it's a number of societal factors and investor factors, rather. And it does seem to be that there's always a delay from what's happening and the sentiment happening on the ground in the grassroots and the community versus how that plays out in the market. It's kind of one of those magic mystery factors to it, but we do have enough data to show that that's what usually happens. So I believe that we are on that delay factor right now. I think landmark things that happen today, it just really solidifies. It helps solidify Dogecoin's place in the long-term vibrancy and relevancy of Dogecoin. And I think it's going to add to that longevity. So when we do finally go parabolic, I think it's going to help give more favorable results post-correction. I believe that Dogecoin is tremendously undervalued right now. And I think that we're going to have a market to reflect that in the not so distant future. I'm still very bullish about the first quarter of 2022, folks. Still very bullish. And there's a lot to be excited about. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Beto says, I see Doge going to 12 cents. You must have just walked in, Beto, because I did touch on that briefly earlier, that I think it's possible. Now, keep in mind, I too think it's possible that Doge could go to 12 cents, just as I think it's possible that Bitcoin goes to 40K at this juncture. However, I don't see that lasting very long. I think that's going to be a very short, small window in the event that happens. Again, I put that at about 20-25% chance of rain in that regard, but I do think it's on the table to that capacity. I don't think it'll last long. And I think that is going to be around, if it goes there, I think that is the bottom for both Bitcoin and Dogecoin. They'd probably put Ethereum probably around 3,300 maybe. And from there, I think we could see a real ascending slingshot and really start moving and grooving, folks. And I think once it starts, I don't think it's stopping for a few months. And I mean the real bull run, the real legs. So let me see. What do we have next? Next story, courtesy of Business Insider. Elon Musk says he's single and basically living in a technology monastery. I just had to read this one out loud because this is the thing that stood out to me the most hilarious out of the interview that he did with Time magazine. I think it's hilarious that somebody made a story out of it, and that's the title of an article. The Tesla billionaire discussed his split from singer and producer Grimes in a recent interview with Time's Molly Ball, Jeffrey Kluger, and Alejandro for his annual Person of the Year issue. Grimes and I'd say, probably semi-separated, most told Time. We weren't seeing each other that much, and I think this is, to some degree, a long-term thing because she needs to do what is mostly in LA and touring, and my work has mostly become in remote locations like this. Musk explaining to the situation similarly to 6 pages in September telling the publication that he and Grimes had decided to go their separate ways after 3 years of dating. He said that at the time they still loved each other and were on great terms as they co-parented their 18-month-old son, Lil X. So this breakup comes as no surprise. I mean, when you look at the demands and schedules of both of these individuals, I'm surprised they stayed afloat 3 years, frankly. You put me in that situation, you're talking 3 weeks. Beto coming in with a $2 make you holler. I have Bitcoin to 38K Doge at 12 cents, and we rebound. Yeah, not too different, Beto, from what I was saying was a fairly likely scenario. I don't want to scare people because I still personally put the probability of Doge going to 12 cents, like I said, at about a 25% factor. But it's on the table. It is on the table. A 1 in 4 chance. And I did say if it goes to that, Bitcoin, I put it a little bit higher than what you said there, around 40,000. But I do think at that point we'll see a tremendous slingshot ascendance that will rally for quite some time. That's just what I'm seeing at this point, folks. It's just what I'm seeing at this point. Mr. Lin, what's up, Stephen? Welcome, sir. Good to see you. Good to see you. But the limit orders are probably a smart idea, Beto. The limit orders are probably smart. Let's see. Let's go to the next story here. Courtesy of Business Insider. Elon Musk tweets that SpaceX will start a program to put carbon... He was obviously trolling. That's why I'm laughing. And it was funny because I said in response to this tweet that I'm about to read you, I said, I cannot wait till the mainstream media takes us literally. And here we are. Elon Musk tweets that SpaceX will start a program to pull carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and use it for rocket fuel. Musk tweeted on Monday that SpaceX is starting a program to remove carbon dioxide from the Earth's atmosphere and use it as its rocket fuel. Please join if interested, Musk added. He also tweeted that the program will also be important for Mars. Yeah, and now the Guardian is freaking out about it, etc., etc. It's just so predictable at this point. Funny stuff. I don't have anything more to add to that one. Let's just go to the next one, shall we? This one comes courtesy of Cointelegraph. Look out below. Analysts eye a 40K Bitcoin price after today's dip to 45.7. Bitcoin price slumped in an intraday low to 45,500 as analysts say a classical technical analysis pattern on-chain data point toward a strong flush towards 40K may be imminent. On Monday, Bitcoin's short-term outlook worsened after its price fell from an intraday low at 45.5K, a far cry from the weekend's promising rally above 50K level. To be fair, we did flirt with 50K over the weekend, though. It's not like that. I guess that it didn't like stay above 50K technically, but it flirted around 50K. With the year nearly complete, all-time highs nearly 33% away, traders are most likely readjusting their expectations, pushing the 100K Bitcoin target a bit further into 2022. Day traders, 4-hour chart watchers, over-leveraged longs, and are likely freaking out. It's kind of a self-induced prophecy, right? That's kind of happening right now, adding to the panic selling, etc. Again, even this article is giving Bitcoin to 40K even a higher probability that I would put it at. Again, I'm still sticking to my prediction that it's about a 1 in 4 chance it's going to go down there. So we'll see. We'll see how it shakes out, guys. Wow, Steven, don't hold back. What did I don't even know what you responded to. Rumor has it Doge Army was spotted picking up Grimes in a Bugatti. Yeah, I agree. Beto says no need to panic. If we hit those points, that's it. We rise. I think that is a high probability. If it does indeed go there, I think that will be kind of everything I'm showing on the charting and Fibonacci and all that stuff is showing that would be the point of slingshotting forward, guys. So that's kind of where I'm putting it. In a way, I kind of hope it does that. That might, even though I shouldn't really be buying the dip right now. If it dips there, I will buy that dip. I will make it happen. That's too tasty of a dip that'd be too tasty of a dip for me not to seize and take advantage of there. Just a moment, folks. I got to answer this time-sensitive message, but I am still with you. Just chat amongst yourselves for 30 seconds. Let's see here. Did I finish off that last story with the Grimes breakup? I think that was the last. No, I did. I finished that one off, and then we were talking about the Cointelegraph's probability. They're showing a fair probability that Bitcoin could go to 40,000 within the week. Again, I think it's a less than 50% probability that will happen. But in the event it does, folks, I don't think it's a need for panic. I really don't. Just to be clear. This one comes courtesy of Indy100.com. Elon Musk named Times Person of the Year. 12 of his most bizarre and controversial moments. You know, I went through this, and when I went through their opinion of what Elon Musk's most controversial moments are, I was thinking about how different my list would be and how much more amusing my list would be. But we'll quick lightning go through them. Indy 100 is a subsidiary of The Independent, by the way. Calling Tesla cars S3X. An early indication that Musk was all about the lulz was naming Tesla cars after sex jokes, like he was a cast member of The In-Betweeners. That's right. What happens when you rearrange those letters? Yeah, that's right. He named one of the early Tesla models S3X. Yes. Smoking weed on the Joe Rogan podcast. Musk loves a good meme. But how about when he became an actual meme following the appearance on Joe Rogan's podcast? And we all know that infamous GIF that transpired from that appearance. And I will tell you, I remember very distinctly when that happened. Tesla stock went down like 20-some% the following day. People, investors were calling for his removal, and they needed a much more serious CEO to fill Elon's place, and that he shouldn't have done that. And people were calling for his head and calling for him to be ousted for smoking a doobie live on the air with Joe Rogan. I personally don't partake, but I don't think it's really neither here nor there. It's particularly in hindsight, it looks pretty silly when you see how much Tesla is worth now comparatively to when this happened. Anyone calling for his removal at that time is certainly wearing egg on their faces. Another one of his quirky moments is his Iron Man 2 cameo. That's right, he was in Iron Man 2. That was way back in 2010. Does anyone recall this? I recall it. He meets Tony Stark. He's in like a white blazer. He looks pretty good. I think it's I don't know if that's pre or post hair transplant, Elon. Not quite sure which. But I like the first couple Iron Man movies. And then he was also on Rick and Morty. You remember that? And he was also on The Simpsons and South Park and The Big Bang Theory. I never liked Big Bang Theory. That's just me, personal taste. And I know this is kind of sacrilegious, but I'm not the biggest Rick and Morty fan. I don't hate Rick and Morty. Don't crucify me. I don't hate it. I don't not like it. I'm just not like, but I don't like it. You know what I mean? I'm just kind of like, yeah, it's all right. Another top 12 quirky, charismatic moment from Elon Musk is when he went off on Werner Herzog, who's one of cinema's great filmmakers, and who's been known to go to incredible lengths, guys, to get his films and documentaries made. During their conversation, Musk complained about how hard it is to get just one person to Mars without hesitation. Herzog volunteers himself to go to the voyage in a one-way ticket. Musk seems briefly stunned that the 70-year-old German man would be willing to go through such a journey, which probably wouldn't even be the most audacious thing Herzog ever done. With that being said, Herzog would later compare Musk's plans to Mars to fascism. So perhaps he wasn't taken that keen after all. I mean, that's ridiculous. Come on, that's ridiculous. Now this article is very kind of like critical and PC. It's kind of like the stereotypical like PC criticisms of Musk, and they say that claims that his tweets are bonkers and it costs Tesla money. If you gave the position of CEO to anyone else but Elon Musk, to Tesla, and see its progress and value over the last 8 or 9 years, you would be hard pressed for anyone to have made it a more successful venture than Elon Musk. So to have all these armchair quarterbacks saying that his uncouth tweets are having a profound impact in a negative way on Tesla's value, to me is absolutely absurd. Absolutely absurd. What's going on in the chat here? I'm only eating what I kill in 2022, someone says. That is hardcore, friend. Jason Huffman in the mix. I didn't even see Jason. He must have just got in the chat. Yeah, Wurzerg, it doesn't get much more German than that. And maybe that's why he's extra sensitive to the, fascism. I don't know. I think I probably stand with most of you guys that I love Elon's Twitter feed. I love his trolling. I love his dark humor. And this is what The Independent says. In 2018, Musk's tweets were becoming so erratic and bizarre that Tesla investors had to tell him to basically shut up, as he was costing them money. This was after Musk tweeted about being the short seller enrichment commission. Get it? A regulator that just made a multi-million-dollar settlement with him over alleged security fraud. That's pretty good. The name of his Grimes baby. Musk and his indie pop star girlfriend. Grimes had a baby in May, and they called him X. I can't even pronounce the full name. I just call him Little X, like most people. XAEA12. Musk. People were a little confused as how to pronounce the name at first until Grimes went ahead and tried to explain it. Why don't we go over that? Because that's pretty interesting of itself. The X, let me explain Little X's name, what it stands for. The X is for an unknown variable. The AE is the 11 spelling of AI, or the love of artificial intelligence, and the A-12 is a precursor to the SR-17, which is their favorite aircraft, Grimes and Elon's favorite aircraft. No weapons, no defenses, just speed. So great in battle, but non-violent. So that's what the symbology is there, which is pretty cool. Plus the A, which stands for an archangel, which was Grimes' favorite song. I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. Eccentric, sure. Growing up, I think most people are just going to call him X. X is going to give it to you. Even Gwyneth Paltrow, who called her child Apple, thought the name was controversial. Who is Gwyneth Paltrow to take any issue with the name of their kid? Man. All right. I don't have to read any more of this story. I think we got enough out of it. Anyway. Moving on, guys. Let's see what you guys are talking about in the chat. Woke crowd always trying to cancel those who are free thinkers. Yeah, I actually was just in a Twitter Spaces earlier that I was speaking in with journalist Catherine Brodsky. And we were having a very fruitful and interesting provocative discussion just about those very things, Mama Crypto. And I'm going to have Catherine back on the program. I've had her on twice now, but it's been a few months. So Probably about 3 months since I've had Catherine on. I'm gonna have her on with the next couple weeks. She's a very interesting woman, really talented writer, and very interesting mind. She's a lot of fun too. So definitely gonna have Catherine on the program. Look for that within the next 2 weeks for sure, guys. Vegas baby, I bought some more Doge, Luna, and Mana today. Vegas, I think those are all very wise investments in my opinion. I'm a huge fan of all three of those, particularly Doge and Lunaterra. Mana, I was doing great. I just didn't have, enough capital when it was, when I should have bought in. Put it that way. But Lunaterra, I think the future for all three of those is looking so bright. I've gotta wear shades now. Thanks, Mom. Named after a fruit. I'd rather be. How about you guys? I'd rather be named Lil X or just X than Apple. I think X sounds way cooler, don't you? I do. Anyway. So right now, Doge has just kind of been trading sideways since we've been on the air, guys. Sticking right at around 15.5 cents. So we saw like a retracement market wide on the top 10, anywhere from 3% to 9%. And in that context, Doge, I suppose, isn't doing too horribly. Okay. All right. Anyway, welcome, guys, to Midnight Mass. If you just walked in, please hit that like button. It's the number one thing you can do to help the channel out. And welcome aboard. We're just hanging out. We're having a good time. Jason Huffman coming in with a $10 to make you holler. Appreciate it, Jason. Thanks for helping to keep the lights on over here. With that vintage Nintendo Super Sticker. You know, I used to play Nintendo so much as a kid. My life was turning into no friendo. I mean, I'd be on that first Nintendo console all the time. Consequently, I was the Duck Hunt champion. Could finish Super Mario Brothers with my eyes closed. This comes courtesy of Fox. James Bond could be non-binary in the future. It's open. Producers have said the search for the next James Bond won't begin until at least 2022. So that's actually a longer break than I was thinking that they're going to take. James Bond could be non-binary in the future. The producer has revealed Barbara Broccoli. That's a pretty cool name. I mean, regardless of this woman's perspective on the world, which I think is, from what I'm gathering, a bit different than mine, I gotta admit she's got a very cool name. Barbara Broccoli. It sounds like she should have her own series. Barbara Broccoli. Barbara Broccoli confirmed that 007 won't be a woman, but the character could identify as non-binary during Friday's episode of Girls on Film podcast. Non-binary is defined as someone who doesn't identify as being male or female, usually choosing to go by they, them pronouns. I don't want to get too far in this because I know this is kind of a hot button thing, but I was planning on talking about James Bond anyway tonight, and this happened to be in the headlines today. I will just say to this, in respect, literally, I want to be respectful in respect to people's different perspectives on the pronoun stuff. Me, I don't really subscribe to it, but I'm all about respecting what people, choose to go by. It's cool with me. It's really no skin off my back to a degree, so whatever. But I will say this, just leave Bond alone. Just let Bond be Bond. I think sometimes certain people feel a need to constantly progress just for the sake of progressing, whether it makes sense or not. That's kind of the problem, right? You don't want to just progress and change things just for the sake of it. And with certain people, that's just constantly the default goal in society. And that's not always going to be for what's best for society. Sometimes it is. History has shown us this, right? But other times it just doesn't make sense, right? So I'll just leave it at that. Now, on to something else. In relation to Bond, because I do want to talk about James Bond longer. I've got a list here, folks. We are going to have a talk about James Bond. We're going to talk about James Bond movies from worst to first. Worst to first, ladies and gentlemen. And I have the list here in front of me. And those of you who are James Bond fans, listen up, listen in, let me begin. Because we're going to do it to it. Feel free to get on Google or DuckDuckGo, look up the James Bond discography, and see how you feel about it. What's your favorite Bond movie? Let me know in the comments. We're going to go through them all right now, from worst to first, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on? Daniel Craig is my favorite, most physical, most handsome, but yeah, leave certain things alone. I think Daniel Craig has been great. He's been a great Bond. Duck Hunt was revolutionary. Yes. You know what I figured out when I was a kid for Duck Hunt? You could cheat. And I didn't figure it out for like 6 months after I had the console, but if you just put the gun all the way up to the TV screen and start firing, you will hit all the targets. You'll hit all the clay pigeons, all the ducks, no matter what, if you just press the gun all the way to the TV. So that's how I would cheat. Like if I was playing with my older brother and we'd go back and forth and he'd leave the room, I'd just put the gun all the way up to the all up the TV. Perfect score. Perfect score. Contra was a really good old school video game. Legend of Zelda, someone's talking about. One of my favorite old school video games was in the arcade. 4 people could play, and it was called Gauntlet. Anyone remember Gauntlet? Donna Tabuki coming in with a $5 super chat. Keep it up. Giving some pep in my step. Oh, yeah. I'm going to keep moving. We're going to keep it up. Check it out, guys. Check it out. Check it out. When in doubt, sweat it out. Oh, yeah. Now I'm in the mood. Now we're moving. Now we're making the magic. Okay. Let's go to the next one, guys. From worst to first. James Bond. I have for the very worst James Bond film, personally, I have Spectre. 2015's Spectre starring Daniel Craig. As much as I like Daniel Craig, I thought this one fell very flat and very tone deaf. And it was one of those things where Spectre is actually a quintessential example of them trying to fundamentally change the character, but just kind of for the sake of it and unsuccessfully and without purpose. And I think it really showed. I think it really showed in that film. The next worst James Bond movie I will put at... it's kind of a toss-up between 2 of them for me. I'm going to put it at The Living Daylights, 1987. Mostly because it starred Timothy Dalton. And Timothy Dalton is by far my least favorite Bond film. My least favorite Bond. Timothy Dalton was James Bond in the mid to late 80s. I think even the late 70s too. No, he wasn't. That was Roger Moore. So mid to late 80s, that's when Timothy Dalton came on. And he was like a real pretty boy, but he wasn't charming. He didn't have like the charm, and he had no ruggedness to him. He was all flash and suave with very little substance, in my opinion, and no grit. So that's where I'm going to put Timothy Dalton. Timothy Dalton, worst Bond. My opinion. So I'm putting Living Daylights at second to worst Bond film. After that, I'm putting License to Kill. Also Timothy Dalton, because I just explained why. I'm putting License to Kill at the bottom of the list of James Bond films. Then we're going to go to Skyfall. I know this one probably some people like Skyfall. That was another Daniel Craig, 2012. I just didn't grab me. I thought it was very boring, very morose and depressing, but it didn't really bring back any focus or purpose to me that really stuck. Donna Tabuki coming in with a $10 super chat. Not sure why I chose that sticker, Goldfinger. Thank you, Steven. You work so hard to educate and entertain us. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. I love that. I love hearing that. Thank you for the support, Donna. I hope I'm entertaining you guys tonight. Thank you for tuning in on a late one. Honestly, this is the earliest I could get on here tonight, so thank you guys for hanging in there late. Thank you, Donna. Appreciate it. So Donna's favorite is Goldfinger. We will see where I put Goldfinger on the lineup, guys. Then I put No Time to Die. 2021, the most recent one. I liked it. I liked No Time to Die, and that's why it's not at the very bottom. It's kind of moving up towards the middle of the list, but it still wasn't like one of my favorites. But I did like it quite a lot. Then I put Die Another Day, 2002. I actually liked Die Another Day. Madonna did a pretty funky theme song for it that was pretty good. I thought it was a very classic James Bond. That's with Pierce Brosnan. Thought that was pretty good. Followed by Tomorrow Never Dies, which was also good. We'll just keep it moving here. Here's the thing. In descendancy of order, Timothy Dalton's my least favorite Bond. Then I would put... That gets tricky from here. It gets tricky from here. I guess I would put, by default, the guy that was Bond formerly for one film, George Lazenby, Majesty's Secret Service. I guess I would put him next, and nothing against him. I thought he did good, but I thought he's a little bit... I didn't think he evoked a lot of personality, but he was very dapper, and he was very classic 60s looking Bond. So I guess I'd put him there. But I will say that his one film that Bond did do, Majesty's Secret Service, I have that in my top 5 or 6 here. Very good. Very good film. And then next I would probably put... this is tough because I really like both Pierce Brosnan and Roger Moore. But I'd probably put Pierce Brosnan next. And then I'd rate Roger Moore right above Pierce Brosnan. And then I would put Daniel Craig, and then, of course, Sean Connery. Sean Connery's my favorite. It always will be my favorite. But I think Daniel Craig's a very close second. Very close second. I think he did a marvelous job. Marvelous job. So Alan says, License to Chill. I like that. Vegas says, Skyfall got dreary. Yeah, it just got dreary and directionless. You know what I mean? It kind of just got boring. We can go into dark, depressive Bond, but it's got to have purpose. It's got to take us somewhere. And it just didn't take us anywhere. It just kind of seemed like a pointless movie to make. I was literally falling in and out of sleep on it in the theater, which had never happened before in a Bond film. Let's see here. So I guess that's in descendancy of the worst Bond to the best Bond. Timothy Dalton, hands down, is my least favorite Bond. Working up the list here, guys. I would put The Man with the Golden Gun, 1974. Classic Bond, but definitely not the best and not the worst. It just moves along in just solid fashion, but nothing about it just is super remarkable to me, but it's a solid, respectable entry. After that, in that same spirit, I would put For Your Eyes Only. That was Roger Moore. Then I would put, let's see, I'd put From Russia with Love there, and which is the reason why Russia with Love didn't make my top 5 or 6 favorite Bond films. I know this is one of the most well-known Bond films that people often reference, but I thought From Russia with Love was great. I don't have much criticism to say about it, except that I simply can think of other films that I found even more enjoyable than that one. Ones like, for example, A View to a Kill and Octopussy, who almost came out back-to-back. And I love them both. 1983 and 1985. Octopussy had Grace Jones in it. Anybody knows who Grace Jones is? She's a very, just a very distinct, unique, super creative, high fashion model. very tall, from a fashion icon and music icon from the 80s. She was in it. She just did a phenomenal job. Her presence is just epic. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun. And then A View to a Kill, of course, Duran Duran did the theme song. Honestly, I love that song so much. Maybe that should just be in the top 5, just on the theme song alone. Jason Huppman coming in at $10. Make you holler. Will there be new Bond films? Is the franchise over? Good question. I was just talking about this a little bit ago before you walked in. It won't be over. I don't think Bond will ever be over, as long as it's making lots of money and a big name for itself. Now, the challenge is we have seen Hollywood repeatedly, particularly over the last 5 to 7 years, I would say. They seem to take classics, drive them into the ground for the sake of wokeism, essentially. And they want to put like such a progressive spin on things that it ends up intruding on the original appeal and integrity of these sorts of characters and franchises. So I think this is honestly the biggest challenge from what I've been reading. That's going to face James Bond. So we'll see. We'll see if they kill this and ruin this like they've ruined so many other things. We'll see how it shakes out. You know why Cobra Kai has become so immensely successful? Great show, by the way. Cheesy but great. Is because it doesn't have like that air of agenda about it that's just permeated everything all the time. It's very cult-like, you know what I mean? And it's just kind of become accepted that that's a part of our culture now. But Cobra Kai doesn't really have much of any of that. In fact, all you need to do to really stand out right now in that regard and is simply not be political in your show. By simply not being like overtly political with an overtly political agenda, you end up being in a very small faction of modern television series or film. And I think Kai exudes that more that classic fun from more simple times, you know, without worrying about being too PC. It is what it is, and it's just a lot of fun. I think it's done really well. Moving up the list here. The Spy Who Loved Me, 1977. Live and Let Die, 1973. Now we're getting up in the list. Yeah, Live and Let Die was really good, really weird. If you haven't seen Live and Let Die, a lot of it takes place in Jamaica and involves like voodoo and voodoo doctors and guys that go around killing people by shooting them with mouth darts. It's really wild. And obviously the theme song, you guys know Live and Let Die, right? By Wings. Bam, 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 bam. I think Axl Rose tried to do a rendition of that at one point with very questionable results. Some of your comments are pretty funny. So let's keep moving up here, guys. Let's keep moving on up. I'd put Diamonds Are Forever, 1971. After that, moving up, I'd put Thunderball. We're getting towards the top, guys. Thunderball was excellent. That's from 1965. And You Only Live Twice, coming in at number 5 here, guys. You Only Live Twice. Some of the most beautiful music on that one. And I think Robbie Williams, the big Britpop star for many years, he sampled that song, but the instrumental string version of it, and he did it really brilliantly. He did it really cleverly. And when he first came out, I'm like, because I always thought to myself that would be such a great sample, and he did it, and I was like, yep, I don't blame you. It's so good. working our way up, guys. Top 3 Bond films of all time. Are we ready to do it? Are we ready? This one's going to be kind of controversial. Most people wouldn't put this in the top 3, but I'm putting it at number 3. Moonraker. Yes, 1979 Moonraker with Roger Moore. I think it's distinctly whimsical and comedic, but in a can't really fun, campy way. Jaws, remember Big Jaws? He actually finds another a woman who's got a retainer, a real nerdy looking woman that he falls in love with. So Jaws hooks up with a woman, and then they're all having this final battle in space, this gravity-free zone, and lasers shooting everywhere, and space babes. It's great. It's great. Live and Let Die was a Guns N' Roses song. Yeah, see, I knew they tried to redo that. Next one. Number 2, I'm going to put Dr. No. Dr. No, the first Bond movie. Well, not technically the first, but as far as the franchise goes, the first, starring none other than Sean Connery. 1962, just classic, brilliant. The aesthetics on point, the fashion, the architecture, the storyline, the bravado, the girls, it's all there. The adventure, it's all there. It's so awesome. I could watch Dr. No over and over again. And the number 1, my favorite James Bond film of all time, Casino Royale, starring Daniel Craig, 2006. Completely and totally badass in every sense of the word. Has all the elements. It reintroduces Bond as a darker, grittier, tougher, more masculine character with a lot of complexity and secrets, right? And it's got all the adventure and the love story and the affairs and the chase scenes and all that stuff. And it's just got a certain level of brutality about it that's just really like, whoa, that you never quite seen before in a Bond film before that. So super groundbreaking. Loved Casino Royale. If they could have found a way with Daniel Craig to just recreate Casino Royale to that caliber, that'd be fantastic. But, it is what it is, folks. It is what it is. Thank God I have Bitcoin. Hector the Dude says, yeah, I think it's a great time to buy Bitcoin. Diamond Hands Ready says, Moonraker is my fave. Oh, I'm not the only one. Let's see here. All right, so there we had it from worst to first. My favorite, least favorite to favorite James Bond movies. How did it stack up? How did it sound to you guys? What do you guys think? What's your favorite Bond film of all time? And we'll see here. Bitcoin Magazine reports adoption scarcity to fuel a Bitcoin run to 100K, they are now predicting. Despite having fallen nearly 30% since its November all-time high, Bitcoin is now consolidating in a consolidating bull market and on its way to $100,000, according to Bloomberg Intelligence report. The paper said it is unlikely that its Bitcoin's bull run has come to a halt and prices fixed surprise to sustain increasing prices. The key to facing Bitcoin nearing an onset of 2022 is whether it's peaking or simply consolidating in a bull market. The reporter said, "We believe it's the latter and seeing the benchmark crypto well on its way to becoming a global digital collateral in a world going that way." I completely agree. The report also highlighted how this year's corrections have made the asset stronger and its bull market healthier. Again, I agree. These are healthy. These kind of retracements make everything healthier from all the way from Bitcoin to DeFi, folks. As Bitcoin endured in the past China's mining ban to make all new highs, in addition to breaching previous tops to reach 69,000 in November, the Bitcoin network hash rate has also recently made all-time new high, showcasing deep resilience of its consensus protocol. Bloomberg added that Bitcoin's fixed supply enforced through a diminishing issuance every 4 years could help it outperform stocks again next year, putting it at a high advantage against an extended stock market that hasn't had a 10% correction since the 2020 crash. Again, this all echoes and harkens back to Bitcoin to 100K within the first quarter of next year. High probability. Still super bullish about what's to come. I'm still super bullish about the first quarter, particularly the last half of the first quarter of 2022. I think that we are likely to see gains and rises across the board from Dogecoin to Bitcoin, ETH to AVAX and VeChain, whatever. To proportions that we've never seen before. Guys, I'm going to wind this one down. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for being with me tonight. Thanks for hanging with me late. I know it was a bit more sparsely populated tonight, but thank you again. That's all I got for now. Until next time, this is your man, Real Deal, Steven Steele, signing out. Thanks, guys.